see, when we were playing Belgium, if you see the first two quarters, third quarter, till third quarter, the game was okay, we were playing well. But what Belgium had done was they had stopped the counter-attack. They still played a defensive game with us, and they didn't give any opening to a forward. They didn't have interceptions, they didn't have wrong passes, because they knew that India's counter-attack is good, and the number of goals we have scored on counter-attacks and plus on the penalty corners. I mean, not in the last 30-40 years that we have done so well and field goals and penalty corners together, and that's the reason why we got a medal here. Third quarter, fourth quarter, we wanted to, we went defensive a little bit. And then Manpreet, when he got a card, those 2 minutes, they scored a goal, and then pressure was built, and then they became desperate. And that desperation, then the last 2-3 minutes when the goalkeeper was out, another goal was scored. Well, you see, I can't comment on this. The reason being, he was not in the 16 initially. The coach, how he decided to make his 16 players, I would not like to doubt also, because he's been with the players for so many years, and his calculations, he was not there in the thing. But then when the first 2-3 matches, when the other two players were just, our old, he was a good player, but he didn't click, so that's when he got the chance to come in. So I think the coach didn't have too much of confidence in him. I think so. But otherwise, whenever he was put on the field, he played very well. The forwards combined well, and his understanding with the other forwards was excellent. This question you must ask the coach, but as I said, the coach, because he has tried Simran in so many tournaments, in so many matches. Maybe this dose which was given to Simran when he was not in the 16, he didn't have pressure on the field, I think, because he thought, now I'm back, nothing to lose. So that type of, sometimes the thought which comes into your mind, you give your best. See, when there's nothing to lose, but why, the reason he was not playing in the semi-finals, I can't say that. Because maybe he wanted to play too defensive, because Simran is not a very good defensive player. Maybe he wanted too much of service from the forwards coming into defense, intercepting balls, and then he was playing on a counter-attack. Simran is not that good in a counter-attack. He's a ball player in a rush area and 25 area. When he gets the ball, he's excellent player. But the plan of the coach, I think, was to play defensive, contain the Belgians, and get a counter-attack or get a penalty corner, because he was a little, because I think he was a little scared from the Belgian side. But still, the Indian team played very well in that match, and winning, losing, I don't say, but we have to be there. India, this batch is going to stay for 4 years, I think. They have another 4 to 6 years of hockey left in them, except for 2-3 players like Shirijesh, the stopper, 2-3 players who are, downhill now, how long they can sustain their physical fitness. But new players coming in, I have my doubts on it, because since we won the 16 Junior World Cup, we have not worked on our juniors, and we have lost those precious 4-5 years. And the next batch, where from it is going to come, that's my doubt. And if they don't come, and the transition will be very difficult for the seniors. If downhill slide starts, we're going to again go into 8 to 12. As I said, till 2026, but how many players are going to stay from this team? 4 or 5 players are going to go from this team. Rupinder Pal is already old. Goalkeeper can be there, but if he has the drive, but another 2-3 players have to get out. What will be the substitutions? Players we have, we see all good teams. If you see their bench strength, they have 30 to 35 players. Same level, anybody can come in anytime and you don't feel the difference. But not in India. Where do we have those players? I mean, our batch is only about 25, and out of the 25, 5, 6 are not there. So that's the problem with Indian hockey. And where are the players coming from? You see, basically this team had 10 players from Punjab, and others 2 from Odisha, 3 from Haryana, 1 from Kerala. Where are the centers? From where the players come? And as things are in Punjab in the last 3-4 years, Punjab sports has gone to, I mean, it's gone so low, and hockey is same as other sports. I don't think so any other player, any players coming in quickly into the national structure in 2-3 years. So that's my worry, because we don't work on long term. It's all ad hocism in India in sports. Ad hocism, you can't stay at top. So we have to make a permanent structure. We have to work on it, and these schemes like Khelo India and all, they don't help you. You have to start a very, very long-term athlete development program where you catch the young kids at about 5, 6, 7, and then you bring them to the centers like this. Because it's such a huge country, you can't take infrastructure to every village. So either you bring them here or you take the infrastructure to the villages where hockey playing pockets. These are my doubts, and let's see, I'm wrong. Hope I'm wrong. So you see, there are two ways of selecting players. One is either you give everybody a chance to come to the field to play, because players are genetic. They are born to become players. You can't make a player. As I said, genetically, explosive strength is genetic, your reaction time is genetic, your speed is genetic, your constitution is genetic. So they are born. So either you give a chance, as Western world does. They give a chance to everybody to play. From the age 4 onwards, they start making them play. And from there, the talent comes out. And then you pick them and you pick games for them. India, we don't have that system. And then until and unless you expose the good stuff, you don't come to know. Everybody seems to be equal until they start training. So whatever I learned from the international coaches and from the Cologne Institute, Moscow Institute, or the Australian School of Sports Institute. So we started looking for these traits. So wherever I went, I started going to the sub-centers in all over Punjab where hockey was being played. A lot of pockets in Gurdaspur, Amritsar, Faridkot, Jalandhar, Ludhiana. And over there we started testing them for explosive strength, for reaction time, and for speed. And those kids were identified, and then where they were playing, we started teaching those coaches that you have to work, you have to give them this dose every day, don't overdo it. This much of hockey skill, little by little. And then we brought them into the turf at the age of 10, 11 months, because you can't bring them to the hostels before 6th class. Well, you see, we only initially in 6, we only took 20 players, 20 kids. And out of that, 2-3 are from that batch. I will not name them. And then 2006-7 batch, 2008 batch, 2009 batch. When you pick a guy, he has all the required physical fitness. Principally he is there. But when he starts working, then you say that yes, he'll reach top. But at the later age, from 2022, those 2 years when the transition is being made from juniors to seniors, that's where this works. This you can't predict. And some of the players who are left out on this team, they were very, very good. Like Akashdeep and the right half and the left half, Gurinder, they are very good. But I think somewhere tactically, either the coach didn't have favor in them. So that's which is very difficult to predict. The mind stuff, which is very, very vulnerable. Even a single thought, negative thought, just brings your performance down. Being positive, it goes up, as I said with Simran. So these things are very difficult to predict. But when you start working with the kids, the numbers, you have to work with the numbers. You have to work with a lot of big numbers. Because as research says, only 1% become great hockey players if you train them for 12 years. That you give them everything perfect for the 12 years. Everything from food to training to tactical part, everything you give them the best, then only 1% the players will become on top. And if you go to tennis or athletics, it's 0.01%. That's the number you want to work with. That's where you get the best. It's like IIT, and we have to do that. Hockey India is not very sportive of tournaments, I think. Otherwise, the tournaments would have still continued. But you have to have tournaments. You have to have a tournament, and you can make you can pick 8 top tournaments from Punjab, Western, Eastern, Central India, and make it a league. End result of that tournament is different, but the points calculated, and then you can make a national league. You can make A league, B league, C league, D league. You can make a junior league, C league. But then the committees which organize the tournament, those have to be supported. Either the federation takes over, either the state associations take over these tournaments, or let them do it. If you don't give them dates, if you don't give them top teams to play, if you don't give them top players to come into the tournament, why would I or anybody organize a tournament? So there's something wrong somewhere. I don't know what it is, but the tournaments have to be started. They have to come back. Junior, sub-junior, senior level. At least you have to have minimum of 20 to 30 matches per player every year. Where we only get 1 or 2. Well, I've been working in Punjab since '93 now. I've seen a lot of governments coming in, going out, and this structure was made in 2005. We were supported by the government. And end of the day, it's the sport, the government sport. And financial sport, yeah, both. Government can also do financial sport, but government sport and then financial can be, you can bring it from private players, but the government sport has to be there. We started a league for 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds, but then when the governments change, everything goes down. Reason being, I don't know how they think, these politicians. They think that the credit will go to him. The credit doesn't go to a politician or an officer who is working or a coach who is working. The credit goes to the state, to the players, to the families whose players go up. So think about this as a credit, then thinking that he will take the credit, and that's what happens. These last 4 years, the government has been very, very unresponsive. They have not bought a single hockey stick in the last 4 years. They have not given equipment to any player of any game in India, in Punjab. How does it happen? The sportsmen in all games come from poor families and from villages. Now you don't have equipment. Where do you think sports is going to go? And then all of a sudden you come, you say, okay, I'll do 30 crores. I'll make stadiums in 600 villages. Stadiums don't make a player. The people behind who make a player are the coaches, the dietitians, the physiotherapists, the exercise physiologists, the physical trainers, the biomechanists who rectify the faults. These are the things which take a sport up. But I don't know how governments think. And making big stadiums, as I said a few days back in an interview, you've been to Holland so many times. There's only one stadium, Amstelveen, right? If you go to Germany, there's only one stadium, Mönchengladbach. Yes, they have a stadium in Berlin, which was built in '36. They have a stadium in Munich, but that's a very small stadium. And in India, not talk about India, I will talk about Punjab. We have 8 stadiums. Each has a capacity of 15,000 like this. And not a single game has been played in these stadiums till date. What do you need? You need a playing ground or you need a stadium? This stadium is now almost how many years old? 10 years old. Has a single tournament been played here? Has a single match been played here? No. And to build the stadium, you spend 25-30 crores, and turf only requires 33 crores. You could have built 10 turfs somewhere for the players to come. What we require is we require playing fields. We don't need a track everywhere. We don't need a 8-lane, 10-lane track. We only need 200-meter lanes. We only need one 400-meter or two 400-meter lanes. We only need a jumping runway for the long jump, only a runway for the javelin throwing. That is what is required in India. And even in Western world, you see, this is what is there in every. And for basketball also, they have a ring, just a 3-a-side. But we make stadiums because the reason is, I don't know. Your smile says that the higher the amount spent, the better is for the people who are working on it. You see, I don't think so. This will happen. If you see a state like Punjab, there's a lot of love for hockey. Though there is a lot of people who want athletics, who want basketball, who want volleyball. There's a lot of. But then, what do we see at top? For soccer, for volleyball, for basketball, where are we as a state, as a country? And who's working in to bring it up? Nobody. That's how the interest has gone down in these things. I think so. Because there has to be some aim why you're training, why you're studying this, why do you want to go to IIT, why do you want to become an engineer, why do you become a volleyball player when you don't get a job of a spoil. These things are going to matter. But let's see. That's the only thing I know, and I'm always there for it. That's why I keep going to the ground. But these coaches come to me, they talk to me, we discuss things. The players talk to me. I'm there. When if somebody needs me, I'll be there. If they don't need me, I'm happy where I am.